I think the biggest reason I went to West Point was I felt it would make a man out of me. My idea of what a man should be. At that point, 17 years old, I was confused about a lot of things. Not only sex, my future, religion, and I felt that going to West Point would help boost my spirit and help me attain the manhood that I wanted. You just don't go to West Point and not know what you're getting into. I didn't prepare. I should have prepared, and it was a huge, huge mistake. My name is Paul Kantrowich. I live in Jericho, Long Island. I recently published a book about my youth, my senior year in high school and my freshman year in college. When my folks moved down from New York into South Miami, I was 11 and a half. My dad had a little business that he wanted to explore and try to make a better living for his family. I have a twin sister named Helen and an older sister 5 years older named Wilma. My mom always worked as a secretary, administrator, and my dad was kind of an entrepreneur. Eventually he wound up taking ownership of a gift shop on Miami Beach. I was in junior high school. Everybody was bigger than me, taller than me, faster than me. And when my dad bought me a tennis racket for my birthday, we went to the tennis courts and I realized you didn't have to be 6 foot tall and you didn't have to be 200 pounds. As long as you were making an effort to be athletic on the tennis court, you could become a pretty good player. And I started taking lessons, and after about 6 months of learning to play, it became a passion, and I realized I could be good at it, and it just took over my whole life. I wound up being on the Florida Junior Davis Cup team. I wound up winning the Florida doubles with my partner, and I was ranked in the top 5 or 6 in singles. My parents, when they found out that West Point wanted to recruit me for tennis, and they met the tennis coach at dinner one night, they got all excited. Once they made up their mind that they wanted me to go to West Point, all the other college scholarships and offers that I had kind of went out the window. Beast Barracks is a training program for 8 weeks in the summertime. It starts the day after July 4th and lasts all the way through Labor Day. I believe now it's a lot different, but in 1960, Beast Barracks was a way to weed people out and to figure out who actually belonged there and who didn't. The minute I got to the academy quadrangle, I was ganged up on by the upper class cadre who were there to train us. And as I write in the book, it was a shock. It was a shock to the point where it became surreal. Surreal to the point where it became an outer body experience. The chaos, the screaming, the yelling, not only towards me, but the other 900 candidates. It was like walking into a wind tunnel and just the wind never ending. There was so much stress that everybody was under that time just crawled. So you would wake up in the morning at 5:50 and you'd go to sleep at 10 o'clock at night, and it didn't seem like a day, it seemed like a week or a month. It was totally exhausting. At that point there was about 1% Jewish population. There weren't many of us, and we were all just trying to survive, so we really didn't band together and huddle together and figure out how we could do this or how we could do that. Now, I was singled out by a group of anti-Semitic kids during Beast Barracks. Some of the cadets who were seniors on the tennis team, they stopped by, they helped me. The captain of the tennis team, Jim Peterson, actually put an end to the harassment that I was getting. Tennis was my life. It was my identity there. My teammates always tried to boost my spirits, make me feel that I was important. So being on the tennis team and being on the squash team, If it hadn't been for that, I would have washed out from the very beginning. The whole 4 years at West Point, I was just struggling to survive. I wasn't a model cadet. I was in confinement all the time. I didn't really get out a lot. But the fact is that I was not very attuned to the world. I was very isolated into my own personal world of tennis and surviving as a cadet. My experiences at West Point still overpower me, where I don't see all the beauty. I only feel in my body the experiences that I had that weren't very pleasant. These are memories that I just can't forget. I don't want to forget. This book also represents my frame of mind when I was 17 years old, just turning 18. So being a teenager, and particularly leaving home, starting college, starting a whole scenario that they had no understanding of, it's very, very difficult. And again, part of all of this is learning, growing, crying, shouting, screaming. But being a teenager for me, I thought I was mature at the time. I wasn't mature at all.